Well, I finally got around to doing some live readings. Now, this live reading is not coming from either of my books. This is actually from my blog. And I think it's something that you'll find interesting. It's conceptual. And I think you're going to like the way this finishes. And it'll be thought provoking. Here we go. The parents are fighting. How did we get here? Imagine children coming home to their parents out on the front grass of the house in a full blown physical fight, shouting and swinging at one another. You see, there was once love here, the energy of a new romance, the excitement of possibilities, the deep and thought out promises made to one another, signatures on a document that certified their love and commitment to one another, along with vows. But dad, in a quest to make the perfect world for his family, did imperfect things. He was a hard worker, but he was also hard on his family. And sometimes he cheated others to provide for his own family. Mom, not knowing his struggle to lead, judged him as mean. Their commitment to the original promises fell away. The children watch as their parents are cold to one another, then snipe at one another, and then are spiteful to one another. For the sons and daughters, their world is not the safe and protected space they thought it was. And the younger this happens, the more unsettling it is, though it destroys their world no matter the age. Mommy and daddy are the sentinels of their comfort and safety, answering the natural needs of a child. But that has been disrupted by the seeking of power and having say in the relationship. The child's exposure to adult disagreement should be gradual, gentle, and humane. Mom and dad are not going to always agree, most certainly, and some issues will be more passionate in their response to one another than other issues. To raise emotionally stable children, the parents must be of one accord, discussing disagreements separate from the children and then emerging with a unified direction. But how did this family get here? Was it infidelity or treason? The dismissal of the desires of the other parent and reverting to one's own direction is treason to the relationship. If the decision is that there will be no television weeknights after 9 p.m., either parent granting full-on suspension of this is betraying their partner and family goals. Of course, there are exceptions, room for a momentary change. Let's say for situational necessity. One of the parents suspends bedtime. It should be singular, happening just once, and for a justifiable reason. For instance, in the 70s, a lot of kids were up late to watch the first NASA Apollo program night launch. But that didn't mean that now every night we were going to be up until 10, 11 p.m., even midnight, disrupting sleep patterns. In context, bedtime may be a small issue, especially if done once or occasionally for good reason, not necessitating dramatic confrontation. But continual disregard for the other parent's wishes may need a recentering by mom and dad, holding one another accountable and getting back on the same page. If the disregard for what was agreed upon continues, dissolution is inevitable. Unresolved, the dismissal of family rules or deliberately going against the other parent worsens and invites confrontation and conflict. What are you doing? No, what are you doing? They are rules that we agreed to. I don't like these rules. Teenage dating, drinking, college, trade school, or military. The father and mother may not agree, but the children should be unaware of this. The parents are supposed to come with a unified plan. The family fails if mom sees no problem with a 15-year-old girl sleeping at her boyfriend's house and dad says hell no, but when he works late, she allows it to happen against his wishes. She wants to let him be hated for being the disciplinarian. That way, the kids choose me, mom. Dad sees no problem with his 16-year-old son having a beer. Mom sees the window to a bigger problem later. But when she is away visiting her family, he passes his son a brew. Now there is frustration in the marriage that the children can see. They try to reconcile the contradictory guidance, but there is no longer right or wrong. All morality derives from whichever parent is present while the other is preoccupied. Then the day comes when disaster strikes. A son in a car accident when mom argued against him being allowed to drive alone. The teenage daughter who was allowed to have the neighbor's son sleep over at their home and gets pregnant when dad forbade the practice. The situation between mom and dad is now even more animated, more vocal, the words more cutting. The children are confused. The two people they love and depend on. Whoa, almost screwed up. The children are confused. The two people they love and depend on for guidance and safety and nourishment and shelter are creating unease in the family space. They stop speaking to one another. The home is uncomfortable. There is no more cohesive relationship. It blows up one day while the children are at school and come home to see their parents out front on the grass in a full-blown physical fight. Shouting and swinging, neighbors watching, trying to separate these two. The police arrive and mom cries to gain their sympathy and wants them to arrest dad. Dad tells the cops, you know how they are, and that he is completely innocent. Because she cries better than him and he has bruised her, they take him away. The next day, mom's lawyers serve papers and she's already bringing in outside help to get things done around the house. The house that dad gave everything he had in him to raise his family in. He is broken spiritually, bitter at how she betrayed him, and dad wants to see her dead. Meanwhile, inside the house, mom attempts to convince the children that they are better without him. He was oppressive and mean. Don't you remember how he dictated all of our lives and his rules were so very strict? The kids are caught in the middle. They love their parents, imperfections and all. They tell mom that these people you are hiring to get stuff done are nice, but they are not our dad. He's in dad's space, using dad's stuff. Where's our dad? Walking to school, dad surprises the kids. And they cry as they look at him and ask, why did you beat mommy so bad? You hurt mommy. Are you going to hurt us? Mom isn't hard on us like you are. She's more fun. You just want us to do stuff around the house, like all the time. And you're so serious. Can't you be more like her? The sad children go on to school while dad watches them walk away, crying inside because all he built is fading away. His name is on the mortgage, his blood and sweat in that property. That's my home. Everything is destroyed. A violent end to a failed marriage. Fatherly leadership is gone. Motherly tenderness is damaged. Dad is despondent. Mom is bloodied and bruised. They couldn't honor each other's wishes. They both wanted it to be all their way and deceitfully threw out the rules they didn't like when the other parent wasn't looking. Instead of mommy telling the daughter no young men beyond the living room, she wanted to relive her own youth and somehow get the quarterback of the football team that she missed when she was in high school. So she ignored dad and let that horny boy from across the street come up to the daughter's bedroom. Daddy putting that teenage boy behind the wheel because when he was young, he lost out on the girl he liked because he didn't have a cool car to take her to the prom. I'll let him drive. Mom doesn't understand how this works. The victims are the children. They now live a life of no rules because mommy wants daddy to look like the bad guy and let the kids do whatever they want. Let him be hated for being the disciplinarian, the rule setter. That way they will take my side. And they do. They take mom's side, except they're now out of control. The son she didn't want behind the wheel now drives a stolen car. The daughter is uncoachable because there's no authority in the house, and she is now a mom herself. By the way, there's no one who knows more than the 16-year-old girl. They have the whole world figured out, and you cannot tell them otherwise. She's out of control with a body tattoo and dancing nude for money. The kids are emotionally harmed, and though they will one day recover, the pain may haunt their memories for life and taint future relationships. The most important building block of any stable community and functioning society, the family, has been shattered and left to the whims of outside forces. So here we are. Why? When marrying, the parents agree to a covenant. In this example, the covenant has been broken several times over, each time incurring more animosity, refusing to discuss, demanding compliance, engaging in underhanded moves that build more animosity. The end. So how do we get here? Some of you might be worried upon reading this. Oh my God, are there problems at home? Is the Queen family struggling? I assure you things between Miss Queen and I are fine. This isn't about us. In fact, it isn't even about what it started as, the people in our lives who are struggling in their marriages. It's not even about them. If you haven't figured this out by now, this is about America, a metaphor for our country. Conservatives are dad. Liberals and progressives are mom. The children are the people who entrusted the children are the people who entrusted the country to these two. And two parties are their parents. The original promises and marriage document are the Constitution that they both signed. The people mom hired to help around the house are legal aliens. So, conceptually, I hope you found that interesting, and I would encourage you to listen again or actually go to the blog and read it. And now, as you read it, realize that dad are people who think like me, conservatives, those who tend to vote Republican. Remember, conservatives are not Republicans. Republican or the grand old party is a political party. Conservative is a way of life. And the same to be said for Democrats. The Democrat Party is just that. It is a party. But liberalism, progressivism, and the growing Marxism that they don't want to admit to are also ways of life. I think that this country is on the verge of a domestic dispute, much like in the story. It doesn't even matter what's right or what's wrong, what works, what doesn't work. Really, it just all boils down to who we like and who we don't like. And as I referred to in another essay that I'll read on another occasion, it's a discussion of, do you want to be right or do you want to get it right? Because some people, they just want to be right. I need to win this argument, even if what I'm proposing is wrong and hurts us all, but I need to come out as the victor in a verbal debate. And that's also playing a big part in society today. There are people who are standing on socialism, despite the fact that a large segment of our immigrants have come from socialist countries that were ruined by that socialism, but somehow they want to employ it here. It's kind of like if you play for a football team and they have a winless season, they lose every game. And in the offseason, you trade to another team that's undefeated. And then the second you get there, you whip out the playbook from the team that you came from and say, hey, there's some plays from our old team I think we should run. Why would we listen to that? You lost every game. Take that book and throw it in the trash. And you could say the same for our culture. We have a massive influx of immigration, a lot of it illegal. And then rather than assimilating to what we're doing here, they want to incorporate what they did there, which ruined the countries that they came from. Yes, I said ruined because if it was so great, you wouldn't have left. You know, not everyone is Tyreek Hill. I'm going to leave a winning team to go to a team that's struggling. Well, that was a caveat. Well, the point is, there's something for you to consider. I finally got around to doing this. I guess now that I'm retired from full-time employment, don't know how long that'll last. But now that I'm retired from full-time employment, I can get around to doing this sort of thing and communicating with you all. So I'll leave it there. And maybe I'll open this up for a discussion on another stream, and it'll be, I guess, maybe 30 minutes long, maybe even an hour. And some of you can get on camera and we have a forum about it. But till then, I'm going to have a sip and sign off. Good night.